conversation with Scott Landman of Bloomberg News. New York, New York. Michael on our line for Independence. You're on the Washington Journal.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I wish there was someone who had the power to keep Mr. Bernanke away from these Senate committees when he testifies, because every time he does, the market takes a nosedive, like a submarine that's going to hit the bottom of the ocean at full speed. Another thing I don't like about his policies is this business of 0.0 loans that they give out when they pump out the money. This is nothing but a 19th century program that was initiated by the Treasury Department then. It was called cheap money. Now, China and India do import a lot of oil, but that's not the only reason your gas is so high. Money has been devalued as a result of these no-interest cash that he's pumping out into the country for these businesses and whatever they're doing with it.
Otto on our line for Republicans. Steve, you're on the Washington Journal.
Well, good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys doing this morning?
Good, thank you.
Just a couple of different things. For one, is people do their homework. Well, we need to just start creating jobs. North Dakota's unemployment rate is at 3.6. People need to get in there and look and see why it's 3.6, for one thing. This monetary easing that everybody's talking about, why don't we call it what it is? It's called inflation. We're inflating our money, and it's stealing from the American people, and it's not doing us any good at all. During these all this money that Obama's been putting out, all these big jobs that he's getting is anything over $250,000 has to go to unions, which is BS. If we want to really start getting this country back together, we got to get rid of the EPA because they're the ones that are stopping all these jobs. I was talking to a painter the other day. He says what the EPA doing, everything that they're doing, is he's going to be out of a job here in 3 years because of all the restrictions and everything else that they've been putting on. And everybody needs to start looking at this Agenda 21. It's not very good for this country. We're Americans. We're not a European country. And we need to stop this BS that people are doing to us.
Steve, in Charlotte, North Carolina, our next caller is Patrick on our line for Republicans. Patrick, you're on the Washington Journal.
Good morning. Steve Forbes made a very succinct statement, and he's exactly right. We know the tricks, what the Federal Reserve's up to in their toolbox. And, my thing about inflation, we know inflation is going on out here in rural America. Prices of lumber, hardware, your grocery store, and so forth. But, what I want in particular is so what if we have a little deflation? So what if the purchasing power of the dollar is strengthened? And now people go to work, they're more apt to save and put money in the bank. And, think about it, you put money in the bank today, you're getting a negative return on your principal. So you really, that's theft in a way from each and every American by the hands of the Federal Reserve Chairman. He knows we're getting a negative return rate on our savings, and yet he's on this, dropping more and more money into the economy, and like Steve Forbes said, helicopter Ben, print more money.
In San Antonio, Texas, you're on the Washington Journal.
Thank you. I enjoy listening to you. I just hear so many people saying that it was the greed of the bankers that caused all these problems. But did they not kind of freeze the bankers out of actual mortgage lending by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and insisting that they loan to people with less and less and less real credibility? The bankers did what they could to make money after they'd been forced out of the actual mortgage lending themselves.
Patrick on our line for Democrats in Colorado Springs. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to comment that in the Washington, I don't believe they're listening to the people. I don't know who they're listening to because I think the decision that they're making, I don't think the people would approve of it if they could voice their own opinion. And the question I wanted to ask is, why are these people up in Washington because they're acting like children? And